Shalom, everyone, and Chag Sameach, as we are celebrating Shabbat and Simchat Torah. And Simchat Torah is just so much fun. I think, it's one thing to do the holidays virtually, but Simchat Torah is really hard. I love the opportunity to be dancing with the scrolls, and one of my favorite things when we're dancing with the scrolls is to look around and see who looks like they've never held a Torah before and pass it to them and give them that opportunity. The other thing, traveling around the country, is there's a tradition in some places of having coated apples, either caramel apples or jelly apples. It seems like here in Pittsburgh, I'm seeing mostly caramel apples. It was something that we really enjoyed every year, not just going to the supermarket, but going to the farm stand to get the really, really good ones. Because this holiday is Zman Simchatenu, the time of our joy, and it's sharing those joys with everyone. And we continue with Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Amalachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Amalachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom, Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nil Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nil Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nil Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zeichem l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zeichem l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zeichem l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
We turn to lighting our Shabbat and holiday candles. Just a reminder that we will be adding Shabbat B'Shel Yom Tov because it is also Simchat Torah. If you've got candles, you are welcome to light them at this time. And hopefully they will in fact light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat v'shel Yom Tov. We continue with a blessing for our loved ones. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Yair Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Shalom, shalom, yasem lecha shalom, shalom, v'yasem lecha shalom, 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 yasem lecha shalom, shalom, v'yasem lecha shalom.
If you're comfortable joining me, please rise for Kiddush. Vayhi erev vayhi boker yom hashishi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol am, v'romamanu mikol hashon, v'kiddushanu b'mitzvotav. V'titen lanu Adonai Eloheinu b'ahava, Shabbatot limnucha, u'moadim l'simcha, chagim u'zmanim l'sason. Et yom HaShabbat hazeh, v'et yom hashmini chag ha'atzeret hazeh, zeman simchatenu mikra kodesh, zecher l'yitziat Mitzrayim. Ki vanu v'charta v'otanu kiddashta mikol hamim. V'shabbat moedei kodshecha, v'ava v'ratzon, v'simcha u'v'sason, hinchaltanu baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat v'Yisrael v'hazmanim. Chaim. Please join me as we read these words together. May your eyes sparkle with the light of Torah, and may your ears hear the music of its words. May the space between each letter of the scrolls bring warmth and happiness to your soul. May the syllables draw holiness from your heart, and may this holiness be gentle and soothing to you and all God's creatures. Let's continue with these words for special words for Shabbat. Mizmor shir leyom HaShabbat, tov lehodod l'Adonai, ulezamer leshimcha elyon, ulezamer leshimcha elyon. Again. Mizmor shir leyom HaShabbat, tov lehodod l'Adonai, ulezamer leshimcha elyon, ulezamer leshimcha elyon. Le'agir b'boker chastecha, ve'emunatcha b'lelot, alei asur va'alei navel, alei higayon bechinor. Mizmor shir leyom HaShabbat, tov lehodod l'Adonai, ulezamer leshimcha elyon, ulezamer leshimcha elyon. Ki simchtani Adonai b'fadlecha, v'ma'asecha Mazmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat Tov Leodot L'Adonai Ulezamer L'Shimcha Elyon Ulezamer L'Shimcha Elyon Ulezamer L'Shimcha Elyon. Tzadik katamar yifrach ke'eretz balvanon yizke yizke. Tzadik katamar yifrach ke'eretz balvanon yizke yizke. Shetulim beveit Adonai b'chatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu. Shetulim beveit Adonai b'chatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu. Tzadik katamar yifrach ke'eretz balvanon yizke yizke. Tzadik katamar yifrach ke'eretz balvanon yizke yizke. One moment, please. And Mikolot mayim rabim adirim mishpereyam. Mikolot mayim rabim adirim mishpereyam. Adir b'marom Adonai, Adir b'marom Adonai, Adir b'marom Adonai, Adir b'marom Adonai. Mikolot mayim rabim, Adirim mishpereyam. Mikolot mayim rabim, Adirim mishpereyam. Adir b'marom Adonai, Adir b'marom Adonai, Adir b'marom Adonai, Adir b'marom Adonai. If you're comfortable joining me for the Chatzi Kaddish and rising in so doing, please do so. Yikadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah v'yalamad yivrach yirteh v'yamlech malchuteh v'chayechon v'yomechon u'chayei l'chol beit Yisrael b'agala u'bizman karib v'yimeru amen. Yehi Shemei Rabbah mevorach la'olam le'almei almaya yiparach. Yiparach v'shabach v'pahar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei Kodesha b'richu li'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran b'alma v'yimeru amen.
Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Borei Yom Balayla. becomes day, day turns to night. Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shokbeinu, b'kumeinu nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed, ki hem chayenu, le'orech yameinu. ובהם נגי יומם ולילה, נגי יומם ולילה. באהבת אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. אוהב עמו ישראל. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. If you're still standing, you may be seated. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Dance 1,000 steps towards heaven. Sing 1,000 hymns of praise. Breathe 1,000 breaths of glory. Rejoice. Climb 1,000 steps for courage. Chant 1,000 hymns for hope. Laugh 1,000 breaths of healing. Rejoice. Walk 1,000 steps of power. Hum 1,000 hymns of life. Share 1,000 breaths of wonder. Rejoice. Leap 1,000 steps towards beauty. Cry 1,000 hymns of joy. Feel 1,000 breaths of mystery. Rejoice, rejoice.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר Moshe uMiriam, Zelianu v'yameru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. ונאמר כיבד אדוני את יעקב גואלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, העמידנו שומרנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, העמידנו שומרנו לחיים. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us with wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Ashkifenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim, lechaim, Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. Whoops, a little too high. Let me bring that back down, sorry. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל עוד היא לעולם, עוד היא לעולם, עוד היא לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וידבר משה את מועדי אדוני את בני ישראל.
continue with the Amidah, I invite you to rise as you are comfortable in body or in spirit. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei Hakol, V'zocher chasdei avot v'imahot, u'mevin gula livnei v'neihem, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר מושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בגבורות, ומדו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. If you noticed, we added a prayer for rain. We have now begun the rainy season, at least in Israel, and so we offer Tfilat HaGeshem, a prayer for rain. Remember those whose hearts poured out to you like water, who trusted that the journey would lead to you. For Abraham and Sarah's faith do not withhold water. Remember the one chosen for her words, please take some water. And remember the one whose blood was almost spilled like water. For Rebekah and Isaac's righteousness, grant water. Remember how Jacob crossed the river to wrestle in the waters of his conscience. Recall the sisters' tears, their waters of birth, their tents of peace. For Jacob, Rachel, and Leah, fill the earth with needed water. Livracha v'lo liklala, l'chaim v'lo l'mavet, l'sova v'lo l'razon, together for blessing and not for curse, for life and not death, for abundance, not want. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה, ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Let Torah hold your moments, carry your days, lift your years. Let Torah fill your hands, nourish your breath, refresh your heart. Let Torah sustain your words, enliven your deeds, lead you home. For Torah is in each life and each generation, and the yearning for God and in God's yearning for us, the flow of secrets from Sinai, divine guidance and grace, calling out to you, dear friends, awaken you slumbers, Have you forgotten this precious gift? Have you forsaken your past and your future? Have you traded your birthright for empty promises? This, then, is God's command. Let Torah hold you, fill you, sustain you. Let Torah guide you into radiance and mysteries. Study and learn, question and seek, hear and grow, lifting your life in sacred service. Let Torah be your breath and your heartbeat. Our God and God of our ancestors, on this day of Atzeret Simchat Torah, be mindful of us and all your people Israel. For God, for good, for love, for compassion, life, and peace. Remember us for well-being. Visit us with blessing. Help us to a fuller life. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat v'Yisrael v'hazmanim. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies Israel, Shabbat, Israel, and the festivals. Prayers are invitations, beckoning holiness and awe, radiance and wonder, to join in this moment, summoning compassion and grace, healing and hope, to spread their wings. Quiet now. Listen to the blessings from the earth and the prayers in the wind that yearn for you, calling out, to join in the chorus. Breathe and sing out with your spirit and your voice. Baruch atah Adonai she'otecha levadecha v'yira na'avod. Praise to you, Adonai, whom alone we serve in reverence.
Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulachana lehodot.
Oops, sorry. There we go. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Try that again. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon Lechol hashalom כי אתה הוא מלך, מלך אדון לכל השלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. 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 וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל, בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. 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 תשים לעולם, תשים לעולם, תשים לעולם. ברוך אתה אדוני, המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום. Please take the next few moments to offer the prayers of your own heart. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו, ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו, ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו, ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו, ועל כל ישראל
Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach, everyone. We are now going to start to celebrate Simchat Torah. And while we can't do it the same way that we normally do, bringing out all of our scrolls, our big Torah scrolls, our smaller Nach scrolls from the prophets and the writings, and then of course our various mini Torahs and even miniature Torahs, so that we can dance around our sanctuary. We are going to show a slideshow of Simchat Torah's past and also other celebrations with the Torah from our congregation. We'll sing along with it, and then we will go straight into our Torah reading and celebration of reading the very end of the book of Deuteronomy and moving straight into the book of Genesis. So here we go. Maybe. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu ve'har kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu ve'har kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu ve'har kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu ve'har kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Adonai Eloheinu romemu.
This evening, our first Torah reading comes from the book of Deuteronomy. It is the very end of Deuteronomy, chapter 34. In this section, the eternal God shows Moses the promised land, and then Moses passes away and is buried by the eternal God. The children of Israel mourn for Moses, and after that, leadership is passed on to Joshua, the son of Nun. And there's an amazing phrase here. It says that there didn't arise in Israel another prophet like Moses, who knew the eternal God face to face. And the question is, what was it that made Moses so special, that God chose Moses? In the Midrash, we go all the way back to the early days of the life of Moses when he was a shepherd. And when Moses was a shepherd, first, the youngest of the sheep would be allowed to eat the tender shoots of the grass, and then the oldest, and then the adults, those that were strongest, went last. And the eternal God knew that as Moses cared for the sheep based on their abilities and what they could do, so Moses would care for each of the people of Israel and each of those who left Egypt with them, based on who they were, their abilities, and their needs. We continue now with our Torah reading.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamorah.
Baruch Adonai HaBarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaBarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu kol ha'anu, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. ומשה בן 120 שנה במותו. לא kahata eno, ולא נס ויכול. Moses was 120 years old when he died. His vision was not dim, and his natural forces were not abated. ויכו בני ישראל את משה בערבות מואב ש30 יום, ויתמרו ימי וכי עבר משה. And the Israelites mourned for Moses in the plains of Moab for 30 days. And then the days of mourning and wailing for Moses were complete. Yehoshua bin Nun, malei ruach chokhmah, ki samach Moshe et yadav alav, vayishma'u elah b'nei Yisrael, vaya'asu ka'asher tzivah Adonai et Moshe. And Joshua, the son of Nun, was filled with the spirit of wisdom, because Moses had laid his hands upon him. And the Israelites listened to him, and they did according to all that Adonai had commanded Moses. V'lo kam navi od b'Yisrael k'Moshe, asher yida'o Adonai panim al panim. And there never arose another prophet in Israel like Moses, who knew Adonai face to face. V'chol ha'atot v'hamoftim, asher shalachko Adonai la'asot be'eretz Mitzrayim, l'Faro u'l'chol avadav, and all the signs and wonders that Adonai sent to perform in the land of Israel before Pharaoh and all his servants and all his land. And all the mighty hand and the great wonders that Moses performed in the sight of all Israel.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tokeinu. Baruch Ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Bezot haTorah asher sam Moshe libnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. Romenu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu l'har kadsho. Romenu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu l'har kadsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu l'har kadsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu l'har kadsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu.
We continue now with our second Torah reading from the book of Genesis. We'll be reading chapter 1, the first day and the second day. In the Torah, there are many different names for God. In the story of creation, there are two different names. The first is Elohim, and the second is Adonai. The name Elohim we usually translate as God, and this name is associated with God's boundaries and justice. The name Adonai, today we translate as the Eternal, and this name of God is associated with compassion and loving kindness. When the world was created, God couldn't create the world with justice alone or with compassion alone, but merged the two different qualities together. And so it is in our lives, that we blend boundary and we blend compassion. And that's when we're able to bring beauty in the world. That is the true art of living. We continue now with the blessings and Torah reading. Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz ve'haaretz hayata tohu v'bohu ve'choshech al pnei tehom ve'ruach Elohim merahefet al pnei hamayim vayomer Elohim yehi or vayehi or. Vayar Elohim et haor ki tov vayadel Elohim ben haor uven hachoshech vayikra Elohim la'or yom ve'lachoshech hara layla vayehi eretz vayehi boker yom echad. Vayomer Elohim yehi rakia betoch hamayim vihi matil bein mayim lamayim vayas Elohim et harakia ve'adel bein hamayim asher mitachat l'rakia uvein hamayim asher me'al harakia vayehihen vayikra Elohim l'rakia shamayim vayehi eretz vayehi boker yom sheni.
When God began to create heaven and earth, the earth being unformed and void, with darkness over the surface of the deep, and a wind from God sweeping over the water, God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. God saw the light was good. God called the light day, and the darkness God called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, a first day. God said, "Let there be an expanse in the midst of the water, that it may separate water from water." God made the expanse. It separated the water which was below the expanse from the water which was above the expanse. And it was so. God called the expanse sky, and there was evening, and there was morning, a second day.
Natan lanu Torah temet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu, Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לבני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. תורה, 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 ציווה לנו משה. תורה, 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 ציווה לנו משה. תורה, 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 ציווה לנו משה. תורה, 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 ציווה לנו משה. 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 תורה, 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 ציווה לנו משה. תורה, 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 ציווה לנו משה.
thank you to all the people who participated and helped to bring us that Torah service. We turn our attention now to those who cannot perhaps be with us this evening because they are not feeling well, those with illness of body, distress of soul, distress of spirit. And we think of them, offer a mishaberach. If you'd like to include their names in the chat, for those of you who are participating on your computers, by all means, share those names with our congregation, and we'll add those names to those already in our hearts. Mishaberach avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov. Mishaberach imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, v'Rachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Bless us with a vision for tomorrow. Help us to reach out to those in pain. May the warmth of friendship ease our sorrow. Give us courage, give us faith, show us the way. Mishaberach avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov. Mishaberach imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, v'Rachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well.
Rabbi Corbin, are you going to share the announcements this evening?
I will share the announcements in just 1 second. We have a whole bunch of stuff that we are planning and coming up. So first things first is that our musical program is made possible with generous support from Edgar Snyder and an anonymous donor. We have our Simchat Torah and Yizkor services via Zoom tomorrow morning at 10, and Havdalah with Cantor Berman also on Zoom at 7:30. The service tomorrow morning will be also shared with Rodef Shalom, as we shared our Sukkot service with them. On October 11th, we have a Watts Talk with Julie Malice, who's the new director of Repair the World. Everyone is welcome, not just Watts members, and you can contact Susan Blackman with the Zoom link. There will also be Beret Sheet with Cantor Berman. We're continuing with planning to canning with Rachel Kudrick. Be in touch with her for more information. That's every Wednesday at 9:30 and at 9:30 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. We have our normal Parsha class at noon, evening meditation with Rhonda at 6, and cook along with Carol Rosenthal, which I believe is Greek baked fish. at 6:30. And tomorrow is the deadline for our high holiday food drive. Please bring your food donations and leave them on the table between the exterior and interior doors at the Krieger entrance. Also, please, please, please return your high holiday prayer books by the end of next week, Friday the 16th. Hartman Learning is going to begin on the 18th. Intro to Judaism is starting at the end of October. And you should all have received an email from Tikkun Olam Vote 2020. This will be followed by a telephone call. Please let them speak with you. If you are mailing in your ballots, hopefully you are starting to receive your mail-in ballots. Please make sure to include the secrecy envelope and to sign and date the outer envelope. The date is the date you signed it, not your birth date. Please make sure that all of those pieces are in order so that we can count so that your vote can count. I'm not counting your vote, but so your vote can count. And I believe that's all. That was a lot. We've got a lot going on. We're going to continue now with Aleinu. Please rise as you are comfortable in body or in spirit.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
At this moment, we recall those who have passed away in recent days. Remember Gabrielle Arendt Hirsch, Michael Alexander, the father of Jennifer Honig Wary, the grandfather of Samantha and Grayson. Recall the yard sites of Betty Ainsman, Alan Berman, Naomi Breslau, Earl Brostoff, Kermit Burns, Love Burns, Ethel Bernstein, Joseph C. Kaplan, Shauna Childs, Naomi Glosser Cohen, Kathleen Kolura, Murray Filer, Benjamin Fisher, Fanny Frank, Robert K. Frank, Joseph Garfinkel, Norman Paul Gidwitz, Frida Glusman, Sylvia Greenberg, Rebecca Gruskin, Gail Hanna, Morris L. Harris, Carol Krieger Hayes, Mordecai Hesser, Jenny Jackson, Sarah Johnson, Jay Joseph, Maury Jubileer, Leon Irving Katz, Jane Kindler, Alex Kushkin, Erwin Labelle, Florence Levitt, Samuel Lebowski, Reuben Miller, Tilly Olitsky, Benjamin Ostroff, George Roscher, Maya Rosenthal, Edgar Roth, Edith Schwartz, Irene Seiden, Donald Strait, Abraham Moses Winkle, Lawrence Weinstein, Millicent Mimi Young, Esther Felitz Zalitz, Jean Zerlstein. And if you like, please add names in the chat in either Zoom or YouTube. In remembrance and an affirmation, we continue with the words of the Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah. V'alma divra chirtei v'amlich malchutei. V'chayachon v'yomechon. Chayei d'chol beit Yisrael. V'agala u'vizman kariv v'yamru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam omei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kedusha b'richu. Le'elah min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechemata. Aram b'alma v'yamru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen. Oseh shalom b'ramah v'hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen. Oseh shalom b'ramah v'hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen.
Our final song this evening will close with Al Shlosha Devarim. On three things the world stands: on Torah, on service, and on acts of loving kindness. Boy, do we need all three. Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Haolam Omeid. Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Haolam Omeid. Al HaTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilur chasadim. Al HaTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilur chasadim. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, olam omeid. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, haolam omeid. Al HaTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. Al HaTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, haolam omeid. Last time. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, haolam omeid.
12 years ago, I had the honor of inviting the Rabbi Emeritus, Arnold Jacob Wolf, to lead consecration. 2 of his grandchildren were being consecrated that day, and it was the most amazing thing. I've never seen someone captivate children of that age for so long. And his message was, Torah siva lanu Moshe, that the eternal God gave Moses this Torah. It was passed from Moses through the generations to each of us. May the light of the Torah be with you and be with all of our generations yet to come. Shabbat Shalom, Chag Sameach.